reading of Vitriol, this play I wrote, apparently. My name is Jacob Sherman, I'm the playwright, and if you want to stick around afterwards, we will be having an intermission in the middle for you to hit the bathroom, and at the end, if you want to stick around, we will be offering up a free glass of wine and having a little talk back so I can get some feedback from you guys, figure out what I need to fix, So I'm going to be asking questions along the lines of where were you interested, where were you engaged, where were you bored. So if you could just keep that in the back of your mind as you're watching it, I'm going to hand it over to Tom, our director, and he will explain how this is going to work.
Okay, so I'll be reading the stage directions as we go through, and then why don't we just go down the line, say who you are and which character you're
My name is Stephen Shady. I am playing Edmund Goldschlag.
And I'm Parker Matthews. I'm going to be playing Julius Zerfos.
I'm Tom Stewart, and I'll be playing Erhard Auer.
I'm Alan Armstrong, I'll be playing Martin Gruber.
I'm Ryan Spicard, and I'm playing everybody else.
All right. Act 1, Scene 1. A desk, old and heavy. Its owner obviously considered its aesthetics second to its utility. Pens, half-written notes, and empty cups clutter its surface, giving it a lived-in feel, or perhaps haunted is the word. As lights come up on Martin's desk, the room does not seem as ominous. Edmund Goldschlag, fiddling absently with an unlit cigarette, sets up a voice recorder without any sense of urgency. That done, he sits. He opens the top drawer, looks inside. Whatever lies within gives him a measure of solace, or nerve, or memory. Perhaps all three. He closes the door and hits record.
Edmund Goldschlag, South German Daily, 1956. I joined the Munich Post in 1921 before...
Scene 2. Martin Gruber and Erhard Auer sit in the office of the Munich Post. Auer is editing an article, his bifocals perched down on his nose. Gruber is sorting a not unsubstantial pile of mail.
Damn it.
What are they suing us for this time?
What aren't they suing us for? Defamation of character, unsubstantiated accusations for which they neglect to provide substantial evidence, and disturbing the public order, the usual litany.
Can we afford the fine?
You're assuming we'll lose.
Yes.
We've got enough, barely.
What happened to you, Martin? You used to be a lot braver than this.
Careful, Erhard, you're dangerously close to being insulting.
So what? I'm the one who pays these fines.
Technically, the party pays the fines.
Technically.
I'll remind you here, Auer, that while the party may hold the purse strings, I hold the presses.
Well, good. We want you holding the presses. Keeps the rest of us from getting ink on our fingers.
You don't seem to mind.
Moral failing, I'm assured.
Did you have a point you planned on making?
We get sued a lot. It's a significant expense.
I know, I'm the one who budgets for it.
Yes, party money without the results the party would like to get.
By the party, am I meant to read Erhard Auer? So, you want me to get sued less. I thought you were the political pragmatist. There's no way.
Or you could deserve it more.
I'm listening.
You've been distracted. Not just you, but your writing staff. Communists to the left, fascists to the right.
Anarchists and monarchists and the batshit crazy. I know, Erhard. I've been covering them.
No, you've been covering all of them. And you're doing damage to none of them. Now, half measures, page critiques, I'm sorry if this insults you, it's downright timid. It's not worthy of you.
I apologize if I haven't been offensive enough for you. Sorry for the party.
Martin, you were selected for this job not because you're easy to get along with. It's because you're experienced, determined, and generally hard to shut up. Except when you do it to yourself.
I'm caught between a rock and a red place, Erhard. What am I supposed to do?
Stop splitting your efforts between the communists and the fascists. You divide and conquer.
So the party's going to pick an enemy?
No, the right stock is going to be a backroom free-for-all for months. But the Munich Post is the public voice of the party. You're going to pick an enemy.
Is this a decision we're making tonight? Hold on then.
Gruber pours 2 glasses of brandy, sits back down.
The question is, will the Post be effective?
Have you already decided? The communists are the most avowedly violent in their methods.
The National Socialist brand of violence. Quiet, orderly, much more insidious.
The Reds would be easier to infiltrate.
That's because the Nazis have more to hide.
I can see where you want me aimed.
No, devil's advocate, I swear.
Fine, let's grant both are equally dangerous and vital topics. Which are we better suited to?
Edmund.
Who?
Edmund Goldschlag. He's new.
The Prussian, right.
He's a party man. He's eager to please. I suspect he'll do as he's told. But we both know Julius would cut out his eye for any chance to go after the Nazis. What I'm wondering is why you're looking for answers you already know.
Just thinking out loud.
No, you're not. When you speak, it's like a professor at Wittenberg, all lectures and considered wisdom. You know all this. Why are you hesitating?
They scare me a lot. And there's a part of me that just wants to leave them be, keep my head down and live my life. I don't want to wind up dead of a less than random mugging.
So?
Fuck it. He's a traitor. Julius, you out there?
Julius Zerfoss enters. He's young for an editor, but the intelligence behind his eyes leaves no doubt as to his competence.
What do you need, Martin? Herr Auer?
The Post is making a bit of a course correction editorially. Seems the party feels we should focus on one foe at a time.
And which foe is that?
The Hitler Party. How does that suit you? I'm thinking we should start off with a bang. Have a seat.
Auer stands up, hands his glass to Zerfoss.
Well, seems like my work here is done.
Politicians. He'd be called a volunteer?
God, no.
Walk safe.
Auer grabs his coat and walking stick. Exits. Scene 3. Auer walks through the narrow streets of Munich. He looks behind him. A grown man, remembering he was once afraid of the dark. He shakes it off and continues. The muffled clang of a toppled garbage can comes from behind him, and Auer whirls around. Like a startled hare, he watches and listens for a moment from the shadows. The seconds draw out with nary a sign. A gunshot. Then a second. An Auer bolts around the nearest corner and presses his back to the wall. He struggles to control his breath as footsteps pound ever closer. He waits, and just as his assailant comes around the bend, Auer swings his cane into the young man's legs, sending the would-be assassin flying across the pavement. A second judicious blow, and the pistol skitters into the darkness.
Who are you? One of the Marxist psychotics?
Screw you, I ain't no fucking red!
The sound of a car pulling up at speed. It honks its horn a few times, distracting Auer just long enough for the gunman to scramble away. The door slams shut and the car zooms away. Auer slumps against the wall, drained from the brief fight. A few shuddering breaths to calm his nerves as he moves back towards the alley, returning shortly after with the would-be murder weapon. He checks the magazine and safety before lodging it in his belt and continuing his walk home. Scene 4. The 4 editors are drinking at Cafe Heck. A brown shirt walks into the bar. He seems to wear a perpetual sneer.
Oh, great. Fascists.
And the handbasket's another step closer to hell.
There's only a handful. We could take them.
Prussian, I am not getting in a bar fight. I am not getting in a bar fight.
On behalf of the patrons of this establishment, I suggest you go somewhere darker and danker to drink. I fear this room is too brightly lit for creatures such as Herr Capitan.
Fuck off, or I'll smash you.
Oh, I don't think so. There's rather a lot of light and witnesses, don't you think? Seems unlike you, and that's really the most disappointing thing about you Nazis. You're all a bunch of cowards.
Keep talking, and I'll bring you up for slander.
Isn't that always the way? Assault your opponents with barristers by day and bullets by night. Lawsuits and long knives. You should reverse the order. Your aim is too poor for the dark.
Liar! Slanderous blood!
I spoke no slander! Not a word! Your capacity for violence is well known, as is your ineptness. I can attest. Last week, I published an article, one that men such as Herr Capitan made quite clear they did not wish to see print. 3 nights ago, as I walked home along Sofelt Street, 3 Nazis pulled pistols and fired at me across the boulevard. Old and feeble as I am, I should have been an eager target for 3 young cowards.
Ah, slander!
But I escaped into the shadows of the alley. As the first assassin followed, I disarmed him with my cane. I needed only to fire the pistols over their heads, and they took off like jackrabbits spotting a hawk. Is it not enough for your victims to be old and outnumbered? Must they also come unarmed for you to display your Aryan courage? If it must be brutal, for the love of God, can you not be brave?
An empty beer stein crashes into the wall behind Auer. Goldschlag darts out of his seat, centimeters from Herr Capitan's...
Apologize!
For what?
Apologize.
Apologies. Herr Auer. I seem to have dropped my glass.
Another stein flies across the room. It is not empty, and it does not miss. A stunned silence as everyone turns to Zerfoss, suddenly drinkless.
Sorry, it slipped.
Herr Capitan throws a punch, Goldschlag another. The fight moves off stage with other 3 following, sounds of a brawl.